friend, welcome. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jen. I'm a part-time online clothing reseller, which means I go to thrift stores, I buy used clothes, I list them on eBay and Poshmark, and I sell them, hopefully for a profit. Today is Monday, May 5th, and happy Cinco de Mayo if you celebrate. And yesterday, I missed a really good one, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. That's a big one for our family. We didn't actually celebrate yesterday. We usually do, but my in-laws were here. I'm talking way too much. Yes, over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I sold a total of 13 items with a gross sales amount of $303.38. So, first item is this button-up. And this is just a regular button-up shirt. The brand is LL Bean with a traditional fit there. It is not, it's just 100% cotton. I mean, it's a nice shirt. The average sale price for an LL Bean button-up is $17.38 with a 7% sell-through rate. This sold fairly well because my in-laws were here. I knew, and I had some other things happening this weekend. I knew it was going to be a pretty busy weekend, and I wasn't going to be able to kind of babysit my eBay store. So what I did was put a 30% sale on my store. So I took off, I usually have a 15% off coupon, almost always actually, and I took that off and then added a 30% off sale. So everything was automatically 30% off. So this sold for $13.27 plus shipping, and it sold for a total of $19.58. I've had this for 15 months, which is too long. But I got it from a friend of mine who had a bunch of clothes. He sold them all to me for $2 a piece. So after my cost of goods, my fees, and my shipping costs, my profit is $9.38. Not too bad. Not too great. That's kind of a theme. The other theme is, this is a really like summery, springy kind of, all of these things are kind of springy and summery, except for two very glaring differences. Very not summery. So anyway, this is a dress. It has kind of an asymmetrical hem, and it's like a sheer bottom. But look at the embroidery, and there's some beading on that. It's really pretty. And then this is linen. I think it's a linen blend. It is. It's a linen and rayon. It's at JL Studios, and I think this is a vintage dress. It's made in China, which, you know, not that long ago, things that were made in China were not vintage, but that is not the case anymore. I think just based on the style of this, let me show you again. Just based on the style of this, and that brand I don't think is a current brand. I could be wrong about the vintageness of it, but I do think it's vintage. So anyway, a vintage linen blend dress that's embroidered has an average sale price of $22.91 with a 4% sell-through rate. Yikes, that's real low. And mine sold for $20.97. Again, that was the 30% off. With shipping, they paid a total of $28.81. I've had this one for 10 months. I bought it at a thrift store that I don't normally go to. It's in a different town. But they have a really good half off sale. The times I've been, I loved it. It was great. I only paid $1.25 for this dress. So after fees, shipping, and my cost of goods, my profit is $16.39. Not too bad. All right, this is another vintage. There's a lot of vintage today. Yeah, a fair amount of vintage. Okay, this is a midi skirt. Yeah, kind of hits mid-calf. Has a really very pastel floral. Apparently pastel is kind of a big deal right now. This is also like, I've used cottagecore. I'm not great at keywords, but I'm trying. This is Bonworth, and this is definitely vintage. This like has a paper tag. I think it's made in the US. It is made in, yeah, made in the US. So good things. There was some repair done to it. I noted that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It was in the elastic. There's an elastic extender pieces in there. Okay. The wind is blowing my tissue paper. I'm not happy. Okay. Come on now. Stay down. Okay, we'll get there. All right, so I looked up vintage midi skirt floral. I didn't add Bonworth because I don't think that the brand particularly matters. I think some brands do, you know, like if it's a really high-end brand or a really sought-after brand, then probably, but Bonworth, I don't know, I doubt it. This, somebody offered me $15. I don't remember if that was before I turned the sale on or not. Anyway, I took $15. The average sale price was $23.49 with a 9% sell-through rate. So when the sell-through rate is super low like that, I am absolutely willing to take offers, and 15 is not terrible for something like this, especially since it was, you know, it's not in perfect condition. So with shipping, they paid $22.87. I've had this for 8 months. I bought it at a local thrift store for $1.50, so probably on a half off day. And after fees, shipping, and my cost of goods, my profit is $11.93. I usually do have promoted listings. Nothing sold promoted, which is kind of weird. I don't know, but everything is on 5% right now. So, okay, strange noises in the neighborhood. This is a little jumpsuit. It is it's got some fairly wide legs. There's a tie in the back. It's Caution to the Wind, which I believe is a Anthropologie brand. I don't remember. I found this brand somewhere and looked it up, and the sell-through rate wasn't great. And then I found it again, this particular piece, at a free sale, and I bought it because it was almost free. They had a thing out for donations, so I ended up putting some money in the donation bin, and when it averaged out, I ended up paying 50 cents per item, which is fantastic. And let's see, a Caution to the Wind jumpsuit was $12.05 with a 4% sell-through rate. They paid $10.47. That was the 30% off. I didn't have it priced very high, I think at $14 or $15. So with shipping, they paid $17.54. Why did they pay that much in shipping? No, that's correct. Sorry. I can't math right now. Like I said, I paid 50 cents for it. So after fees, shipping, and my cost of goods, my profit is $8.34. Again, not super great, but not terrible. I try to hit about $15 in profit just to value my time. But when it's less than that, I'm not ever too terribly sad. Okay, this is a pair of Nike Dry Fit running shorts and another pair of Nike Dry Fit running shorts. When I was first going to the bins, and any like bag sale that I would go to, if I found little running shorts, I would grab them. And then when I got two that were similar in style and size, I would lot them together. And that worked really, really well for me for a while. And then I haven't found any for a while, because I think I would still do that. I think I would still lot those together. But I must not have found any for a while. And these I've had for over 2 years. So they were something that I probably would have purged, but they got, I think, measured or something and then put further into my inventory when I was doing my purge, so they didn't get purged out. I have a 0 cost of goods because when I find those kind of odd, you know, I'm waiting for it to have a partner or something to sell, I will just put a 0 cost of goods and not like include it in my like my average when I'm averaging things. So anyway, the average sale price for Nike Dry Fit running shorts is $10.47 with a 13% sell-through rate. These together sold for $10.41. Altogether, they paid $16.72. I paid, like I said, $0. So after fees and shipping, my cost of goods, my profit is $8.71. Not great, not terrible. They're getting a new home. Hopefully someone will use them well. These are CJ Banks Signature Slimming. And these actually have a decent sell-through rate. Now, maybe not this color, but these are plus size, and I did add plus to my search, and the average sale price is $11.47 with a 25% sell-through rate, which is, in my opinion, kind of decent. It's not terrible, right? 25% of the items that get listed are sold, which is better than 4% for sure. Would I prefer it to be 50 or higher? Absolutely. But these I got for free. My mom likes to find things for me, and I'm gonna be extra about this for some reason. And maybe not. I'll share with you my extraness in a second. I just noticed that my little thank you sticker was like the same color as the pants. And I thought, oh, I wonder if I have a bag that is similar in color. I don't. So, moving on. That's how I was being extra. I don't know what I was saying. Oh, these came from my mom. So I have a 0 cost of goods. They paid $10.47 with the 30% off sale. And with shipping, they paid $17.61. After fees, shipping, and my 0 cost of goods, my profit is $8.67. I feel like I've said 67 an excessive amount. Maybe not. There was just like a 6 in every single number. Okay. I feel like my energy just went it's like tanked. I'm not sure what happened. I'm gonna get a little hydration moment. I encourage you to get one along with me. It's your friendly reminder to hydrate. It's good for you. And if you like sparkling water, Spindrift is so good. This is one of my favorites of this. It's pineapple. They have a Nojito, which is like mint and lime, and then there's a raspberry lime. Those are my 3 favorites. I like sparkling water. I know not everyone does, and that's okay. We don't have to be the same. We can be different. Okay. Oh. Okay. Here we go. My pile was falling. This is a button-up shirt. This is the brand Ariat, which is a Western brand, and I've sold like a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. I think I've sold some boots by Ariat. I don't know. This does have like a little mini micro print to it. This, I don't know. I've definitely paid too much, I'll tell you that. So the average sale price for an Ariat, I don't think I've said it the same way twice. Shirt, button-up shirt, is $20.31 with a 35% sell-through rate. So mine sold for $17.46. I think I had it, yeah, I must have had it listed for $25 because that would be 30% off, right? I think so. So with shipping, they paid a total of $22.87, and I paid $6 for this, which is too much. I think that I thought it was gonna be better than it was, or I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but my profit is $8.94, so I'll take that. I bought this at in another town that's halfway between me and my sister and myself. I said that incorrectly. Anyway, we met halfway and had dinner and went thrifting, and we should do that more often because it's fun. If you have someone who likes to go thrifting with you, you should meet them and go get dinner and go thrifting because it's fun. All right, this is a Carhartt t-shirt. Now, I sold a Carhartt t-shirt last week, and I had said, similar to the Nike running shorts, sometimes Carhartt t-shirts, I will find similar styles and sizes and lot them together, and they sell better because Carhartt is pretty well known, but it's also really oversaturated. So like, sorry, car, I got distracted. So like this one, the sell-through rate is only 12%, and the average sale price is $12.16. And I found that by looking up the specific style number right there. And so the one I sold last week, I got and was thinking I would lot these two together because I knew they were the same size. I got them at different stores, but like within the same week. And the other one was a women's, and this one was a man's. And I was like, well, that's not gonna work out. But they both sold, so that works out. This one sold for, this must have been before I put the sale on, because it sold for $14.95, which was what I had it listed for. They used the 15% off coupon. So with shipping, they paid a total of $18.23. It only took 6 weeks to sell, which is kind of surprising given the 12% sell-through rate. This is the 12, okay, this is stressing me out here. Okay. Stop. Okay, we're good. I bought this at one of my favorite thrift stores for $1. After fees, shipping, and my cost of goods, my profit is $9.86. All right. Just a couple more eBay sales, and then I have some Poshmark and Depop sales too. Always exciting. So this is one of the items that is definitely not summery. Oh, here we go. This is a pillowcase, a pillow cover. It has like, you know, where you put the pillow in. So this is actually, I think it's a linen blend, but this is Pottery Barn, and I have found some good Pottery Barn pillow covers, and they're great. So this one is embroidered, and it has this beautiful pumpkin on it. Very fall, so cute. I love it. If I had still had it in the fall, like if it was still around when in the fall time, I probably would have gotten it out and unlisted it, but it's sold really fast, in a day actually. So when I look up Pottery Barn pillow cover embroidered pumpkin, the average sale price is $35.71 with only an 11% sell-through rate. So unless I missed something, and this is like something super special that I, you know, didn't price correctly, I don't know why it sold so fast with an 11% sell-through rate and it being May and not like September, you know? But I'm not sad about it at all. I don't think I missed anything. I'm pretty sure I Google lensed that. Do you Google lens stuff? I was talking to a lady today who was trying to kind of get rid of her own things, and I was like, did you try a Google lens? It's a good thing. It's a very useful tool, that's for sure. Anyway, I had this priced at $40. Oh, I should say the $35 also is, there's sets in there, you know, because a lot of times pillow covers will come in sets of 2 or more. So there were sets in there. I priced it at $40. Somebody offered me $30 and I was like, done. So with shipping, they paid $35.62. I paid $2 for it at the bins, probably less than that as my average. The bins are the Goodwill outlet where you pay by the pound. So my profit is $23.79. Yay. I love that. This also, not summer. It's a scarf. This says Indiana University. That's what that symbol is if you don't know. I live in Indiana, if you didn't know that. I'm also picking little hairs off of this. And there's a siren. So I work out of my garage and it's currently beautiful out. And so I have my garage doors open, and I get super distracted by what's going on. And then also, you know, it's just noises. So this says Hoosiers, which Indiana University are the Hoosiers. Do I know what a Hoosier is? I don't. It just means someone from Indiana, I think. Does it mean something else? I've literally lived in Indiana the majority of my life, all but 9 years. I've lived in Indiana. We lived for 8 years in Ohio and for 1 year in New York. It wasn't even a full year in New York, but I don't know what a Hoosier is the whole point of that. Do you know what a Hoosier is, bud?
No.
No. Okay, perhaps it is just someone who lives in Indiana. Okay, I'm sorry, this is taking way too long. Longer than I anticipated. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna wrap that up. So, an IU scarf has an average sale price of $10.75 with a 7% sell-through rate. Wow. Not great. But those kind of like athletic soccer scarves sell usually pretty well for me. You don't like that have a specific soccer team on them. I just have sold quite a few scarves with like teams or schools on them. So they usually sell around $15, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. This one sold for $10.01. The average sale price was $10.75. I think I said that. Anywhere from $3 to $13. So I priced mine at $14.95. And somebody offered me $10.01. So I'm not really sure where the 01 came from, but that's fine. They paid a total of $15.53. I again found it in the bins for $1. And so my profit is $7.49. It took 1 week to sell in May. So, you know, there's that. Okay, I sold 2 things on Poshmark. I'm gonna tell you a story about this one. It might make me look petty. I'm not perfect. I'm not afraid to admit that. All right, this is a brand called Me Too Magic. I was trying to find out where it was sold, and I sold something that said Anthropologie and something that said Macy's. I don't know, but it was unclear. I don't think it is a brand that exists still. It seems like the only things I could find on it were ThreadUp or eBay or Poshmark. So anyway, this has like a bell sleeve. It's a maxi dress. It's a tiered. It has this very, I don't know, funky bohemian hippie pattern on it. It definitely had, the whole brand has this like hippie bohemian vibe. It's really fun. I love it. I can't imagine myself wearing it, but I think it's gorgeous. Like, this dress is gorgeous. It is polyester, just in case you were curious. Kind of the way it drapes and feels. It's like, ooh, maybe it's silk, but it's not. It is polyester. Anyway, this has an average sale price of $29.65, okay? $30. And a sell-through rate of $51. Not dollars, percent, 51. So that means 50% of the ones that are listed is up. That's amazing. Other people might say that that's 100% sell-through rate because it's an even number of sold and listed. So I had this listed for $50. Granted, that's pretty high. Did I have it for listed for 50? I did. Okay, that's pretty high. I've had it for a while too, probably because I had it listed so high. I've had it for 10 months. So I got an offer for $20 and I was like, no, that's way too low. So I went back, checked comps, and I was like, you know what? I'll get into a back and forth about this. And when I checked comps just the other day, it was $35. It's still going? Cool. Yeah, it was $35. And so they change, comps change. I don't know. It's crazy, but they do. And sometimes they change fast and sometimes they're pretty consistent, but comps are always changing. Anyway, the point of this is somebody offered me $20. I countered at $40 and they came up to $25 and I went to $35. And then my next thought was maybe they'll go to $30. But I was still pretty convinced that $35 was where I needed to be. And so I stayed at $35. And just every time, they came back 3 or 4 different times and I just countered at $35. And then the last time they came back, they were at like 28 and I don't think I responded at all. I may have countered again. I don't remember exactly, but they ended up buying it for $35. So I did pay $8 for this, which was kind of a lot, but considering the sell-through rate, yeah, I think it was a good decision. So after fees, shipping, and my cost of goods, I'm sorry, there's no shipping because it's Poshmark. That, I don't know what that is. You can play with it if you want. Have it? I don't know. Let me see what it is first. It's just a timer.
Can I have it?
Sure. Anyway, there's no shipping on Poshmark unless you offer a shipping discount, and I do not. So after all of that, my profit is $20. So the pettiness is just me like constantly going back to 35. Maybe that was a little bit petty. But like I said, I really felt like I could get that. I felt like that was, with the sell-through rate, that was reasonable. So this is another dress. This is like a jersey knit, kind of a longer length. This is the brand Bowden, and this is a 6 long. I have a friend who gave me a bunch of stuff to sell for consignment, and our consignment deal is over. So this came from her, and she's quite tall. So almost everything that she gave me was long or tall. And hey, it's starting to rain.
Yeah.
You guys want to come in and not sit out in the rain? That's fine. Kids are playing outside. And apparently the rain is coming. I have noticed that my lighting has changed dramatically. So, what was I telling you about that? I'll get there.
Mom, it's raining. Can we go inside?
Yes.
I told her. Okay.
Okay. Distractions. Distractions and interruptions. They are the spice of life. Okay, Bowden dress. I just did a very basic search. Bowden dress has an average sale price of $26.94 with a 15% sell-through rate. I had this listed, I think for $30. That seems accurate. And then on Friday, I sent out 30% off offers on Poshmark, I forgot what it was called. And that was accepted. So she, I assume it's a she, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a she. She accepted, so $21. I do have a $2 cost of goods on here. Yeah. Anyway, it says it was listed for 2 months, but all of that was like almost a year ago when she gave me all that stuff. So maybe it was only listed on Poshmark for 2 months. I'm not really sure. Anyway, regardless, my profit is $14.80, which is right about where I want to be with my profit. Of course, more is always better. But don't they always also say less is more? Oh my. Things are falling. Okay. Last one. This is a Depop sale. This is another vintage skirt and another vintage floral skirt. This one is more maxi length. Yeah, it definitely hits like at the ankle. It's, I don't know, I just think this blue floral is really pretty. This is Villager Woman, a Liz Claiborne brand. Whew, fancy. So this, similar to, you know, the vintage floral midi skirt, a vintage floral maxi skirt has an average sale price of $22.56 with a 12% sell-through rate. Mine sold for $24 on Depop. With Depop, I have the buyer pay for shipping, and so they paid $8. The birds are going crazy. At least one is. So they paid $8 with shipping, for shipping. Shipping only cost me $5.80, so that was only a couple dollars off. I'm not great at this. You may have heard me say that before if you've seen my videos before, but I don't know. I don't know the best way to do it on Depop, and I probably should go through and like change everything to Depop shipping, but I just haven't done that yet. So anyway, the point being, I paid $2 for that at the bins, and my profit is $22.61. So my total profit was $170.91. And that was over 3 days. My goal is $67 a day for $2,000 a month, and dividing 170.91 by 3 is 56.67. So not quite my goal, but it's all right. It's early in the month, so there's still time. All right, question of the day. Do you have a thrifting buddy? I talked a little bit about my sister, and my mom gives me things, and we like to go thrifting together as well if we can. And I actually was just chatting with one of my best friends who I like to go thrifting with too. She dropped her daughter off right before I started videoing, so I do have some thrifting buddies. My husband does not like to thrift with me, and so I think it's fun to go with a friend sometimes. Here's my caveat to that, my big but. My big but is if I have to thrift for like really concentrate on getting items to resell, and I like need to focus on that, you know, like if I don't have anything and I know I need inventory and my attention needs to be at that, then I don't love going with anyone else. I like to just kind of put my head down and get to it and get it done. If I, you know, have plenty of inventory and I'm really just looking for like some great items, and it's just kind of a bonus if I find something, then I love going with a friend. Anyway, do you have a thrifting buddy? All right, that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you soon.